The entertainment industry is mourning the loss of legendary promoter Glenn Wheatley, who has died aged 74 due to complications related to COVID. Mr Wheatley managed John Farnham, of course, as well as Delta Goodrem and the Little River Band. Joining me live now from Brisbane, singer-songwriter Katie Noonan, who toured with John Farnham back in 2010 and knew Mr Wheatley well. Katie, a big loss for the industry. How will Glenn Wheatley be remembered in your mind?
G'day, Kieran. Well, for me, when I first heard the news, I'm actually over in Noongar country in Perth, and so I heard the news late last night, and I immediately thought of John and his deep and wonderful friendship that he had with Glenn. I think it's pretty common knowledge that Glenn actually mortgaged his own house in order to relaunch John's career with Whispering Jack, which obviously was one of the greatest albums of all time and the highest selling Australian album of all time. And so Glenn was just always, he was a muso to start with. I think that's the difference. He started obviously as the bass player in the Masters Apprentices, but immediately I just thought of John and the fact that they're both deeply committed family men. I remember when I toured with Farnham, his son was on monitors, side stage, and I met Tim, Glenn's son, and of course his wife, Gaynor, of over 40 years. So I just immediately felt for these people who are missing someone that they loved dearly. Yeah.
A huge contribution, isn't it? And it's not just one over a few years. We're talking about a generation here, an end of an era in some ways.
It really is, yeah. Glenn and John and those sort of elder statesmen of the music industry were at the forefront of taking Australia to the world. John enabled the Little River Band to have their huge successes in the US. He enabled John Farnham to brand himself from, Sadie the singing lady into the iconic Farnham that we know and love today. And Farnham is absolutely hands down the greatest singer I've ever seen live in my life, without compare. And the chance to support him every night was incredible and enabled by Glenn. And they were just such lovely, I'm talking about Farnham's band, they were just such lovely people. Glenn was always lovely. He always took my calls. I pitched a large-scale choral event with John and Chong, his MD of many years, in 2017, where we actually used the song You're the Voice to sing out about the scourge of family and domestic violence in Australia. And John was very hesitant, but Glenn believed in the vision, and we got there, and John was our surprise guest for a choir of 3,500, including many victims and survivors of domestic and family violence. And it was an incredibly profound moment that would not have happened if Glenn hadn't taken my call and sort of believed in the vision of the idea that I had. And, it was a very special moment. And then also, of course, he started FM radio in Australia, which we all now...
Of course, yeah.
He started a radio station which went on to become Triple M, and, the quality of audio between AM and FM, we all grew up knowing that, and that basically was thanks to people like Glenn spearheading change in our industry and believing in the quality of Australian artists. Yeah.
Katie Noonan, I very much appreciate your reflections on a sad day for the industry. Thank you for that.